Oh.
Fully charged. Now there's a 4-mile radius dead zone around us.
Gotta work on some content.
For once it does, you're pretty much home free. Now we've been driving all night by design, and we probably have no idea where we are. Don't worry. Open up the battery compartment for a second. Those are your latitude and longitude points. You can give those to any 911 dispatch, or tell your mother. She can tell them. She can call it in, whichever you prefer. Either way, they should be able to come find you pretty quickly. Go ahead. Close the back up. The spirit of it all, as I said, gets diluted if you resort to semi-automatic firearms. Modern weaponry in this country is just so idiot-proof. It gets frustrating when a 6-year-old pull a trigger and slaughter half of his classmates. As a sign that safety precautions have become secondary.
What is this?
This is my small arsenal of weaponry, all of which, I assure you, take a modicum of skill or even craftsmanship to operate with any kind of effectiveness. And in the spirit of full transparency, I should mention that I've taken the liberty to wire up a small handful of booby traps at various points along your escape route. But it's very much probable that if you pick some circuitous path that avoids them all, you'll be good. For it be thick a forest indeed.
Jake, I just want to go home.
You know, you're the first student I'm proud of you. A pedagogical relationship definitely adds an element of tension to the situation, don't you think?
Oh shit.
Truth. I thought about you.
What's good, chat?
Alas, I didn't have a scapegoat. But when I saw Mr. Jacobs lay hands on you and your eyes go deep in despair, I'm sure your blabbermouth friends will obfuscate the issue as they jabber on about how he got handsy that one time. Yes, not about as good a time as any. Earlier, when we were discussing the savagery of man, you may recall I mentioned using the fear of death as a possibility. It happens. I discovered one rainy night when I was hit by a speeding car that I had a certain resiliency to transition into this world. I should have died right there on the spot. But not much had changed. Except how I was on the world. I thought it might have been a fluke, but suffice it to say, there's other occurrences, and eventually a more experiment. I took notes. I've done books, you see, armed with the knowledge of time, and honed my skills as a hunter. Raise this gun. Through my temple.
Anyways,
Slow with it as it exits on the other side. I'm telling you this.
Dodgers don't suck. Come on. We won last year and this year. That's why. That's why we don't suck. And we have eight championships. Like Dodgers is one of my favorite teams.
I would suggest
So how come they won this year? The Blue Jays are good, but
made the mistake.
I'm a Dodgers fan too.
Clever plan, but I assure you,
I'm actually a Blue Jays fan too, but can't lie, I'm a Dodgers fan. I've been a Dodgers fan since for a long time. And I've also been a Blue Jays fan, but
so
I gotta roll with the Dodgers. Drake took that L, so I had to roll with the Dodgers.
Last questions?
You're not a real Blue Jays fan. You just got on the bandwagon. I have Blue Jays hats. I have like the amount of hats I have. The Blue Jays, it's crazy. I have hats that's like probably 15 years old in my closet right now. Blue Jays hats. But what's wrong with supporting two teams? Dodgers and Blue Jays. What's wrong with supporting the Dodgers? They actually donated. How much they donated? Like 60,000 to 6 kids in Toronto. So they're showing love. Like you gotta support them too, cause they donated 60,000 to sick kids, and that's in Toronto. So you gotta support them. Even though the Blue Jays did nice this year, like you guys, like I used to watch the Blue Jays when no one wanted to watch the Blue Jays. All of a sudden, they went on a streak this year, and now everyone wants to be a Blue Jays fan. Like, it's crazy. And I've been wearing this hat. I could show you some Blue Jays gear right now that I still support the Blue Jays. But like I've been wearing this hat before the Blue Jays even like match up with the Dodgers. And people know. Like you look back at my old live streams, you'll see this hat I was wearing. So I'm not just like a new Dodgers fan. I've been rocking this kind of hat for a while. And then we matched up with the Blue Jays in the finals, so you know what I mean? It is what it is, but you gotta support. Nothing wrong with supporting two teams. It's almost like I'm from Jamaica, but I still love Canada too. You know what I mean? I support both countries because, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with supporting two teams. But for the new Blue Jays fans that just jumped on the bandwagon this year, or let's say a month or two ago, like, that's not real support. You're supposed to support them when they're taking all the L's. I used to show up to their games, and there used to be no one in the stands. Like, barely, the place used to be barely full. And I used to be there. So, I still support Toronto, but I'm gonna keep it real. I had this hat on this summer, so I'm gonna keep rocking it. I'm not gonna change. But I hope Toronto wins next year. Toronto wins next year. But this year I couldn't see us winning because we already went so far that I'm happy that we even like went, like, especially to be in like the finals, like that's like, to accomplish all of that, that's like winning the whole World Series, because that hasn't happened in like how long. So it's like I'm still happy that at least we broke that bad streak of not going to like the World Series, and then they, like, you know what I mean? Like, but regardless, at least that shows that we have a chance to like actually really come back and do something next year or the year after. But Dodgers been winning, man. Dodgers won last year, and it's two times they won. So I gotta support the Dodgers for real. And this is 8 times they've won the World Series, so it is what it is. But I like the Blue Jays though. I got some Blue Jays gear right now I can show you guys. I can show you some old school Blue Jays hats. There's even tons of hats and stuff that I tossed out. Blue Jays hats, sweaters. I just tossed them out because I was just like, these are old and kind of like really outdated. So I just tossed them out because I was also um, just like having a cleaner, just minimizing like the stuff that I have. Trying to be a minimalist a bit. That's why I tossed out a whole bunch of like older stuff. But I still have like a hat since like 2010. Even this year, earlier this year, I bought a nice shirt, Blue Jay shirt. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. Crazy Blue Jay shirt. You go get it.
Yes, the box is on.
Hey. Okay, this is an old Blue Jays hat. So no one can tell me I ain't a Blue Jays fan, even though I'm wearing a Dodgers hat. So this is an old school, not too old, but it's like probably like since 20, I don't even know. But this is a new shirt I got this year, earlier this year, before the Blue Jays even went to the finals. Like, no one could tell me anything about Blue Jays. Come on. Can't tell me. Earlier this year I got this. A nice clean shirt. So, yeah, this shit's clean. This hat's actually fire. So I kept this hat because I probably wore this like a couple times and I stopped wearing it. I wish there was a date on here. Tell me when this is from. Yeah, this is an old hat. From like 2010. Put this shit back. Anyways, I can't find the other hat that I had since 2016. But I support Toronto, but you know, Dodgers is the team to support too. That's the crazy thing. A lot of people just became fans of the Blue Jays this year. I've been a fan since time. But I'm also an LA fan because I had multiple LA hats. When I was younger, I think my first team, I always loved Blue Jays, but my first team was definitely Dodgers and who else? I don't know, but Dodgers has always been like my first team, and then I like Toronto obviously because I'm in Toronto. But I'm not gonna switch sides because Toronto just started winning this year. No, I support Toronto. I'm hoping we win next year, but this year we already accomplished a lot, so that's big enough. Can't expect them to win the whole thing when they already did like way more than what people are expecting. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of people didn't even realize they were even gonna get that far, you know, afterwards. The only thing I kind of was skeptical about was if if there was like pay to turn this down. If there's like pay to what you call it, like betting. That's the only thing I was kind of skeptical about. Like, is there some kind of betting going on with the Blue Jays? Why are they winning? The economy is pretty bad in Canada. Are the politicians funneling some money where this is how they're trying to build the pride back in Canada? Because there's been a lot of just weird stuff happening in Canada, especially with like companies like Tim Hortons losing Canadians from just like just hiring a lot more immigrants and stuff that's and instead of just like actual Canadians. I wouldn't say immigrants because a lot of Canadians are immigrants, but like hiring a lot more let's just say a lot more Indian people over just anyone that's in Canada that's trying to get a job. So that's why I was really thinking about the Blue Jays. Is there some kind of payola going on? Why we just randomly made it to the World Series this year? But you never know. Like, at least we went that far, but I was thinking that for a bit because I'm like, the economy is bad. A lot of people do not like Mark Carney because of just like he made it worse than how like Trudeau already made it bad, but like he just came in and made it worse. So that's one thing I was very just skeptical about. Like, what's going on here? Like, all these companies all of a sudden are promoting the Blue Jays. Oh, go Blue Jays! And every other year, you haven't really seen them like do that much promotion as this year, literally. But yeah, I don't want to call out too much, but that's what was in the back of my mind. Like, there's something going on here. There's some kind of payola. But with the Dodgers, they came, they got it. You know what I mean? But we almost had it. We almost had it. Literally almost had it. I didn't even really get to see the full game because it was like I saw like the ending of the game, like the World Series. That's the only thing I really paid attention to because I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe it was just conspiracy, but it was just me just like trying to figure out what's going on with the Blue Jays, how they just all of a sudden winning. Just like the Raptors, when the Raptors won, it was just it just feels like it was planned or someone paying someone to get this done, to just change the narrative around the economy that's going on in Canada with the Canadian dollar. We're almost at 69 cents, so actually recently the Canadian dollar actually strengthened a bit because we're at 70 cents the other day, and then it went up to 71 something right now. So kind of strengthened a bit, but like with the economy going bad right now, it just, I don't know, that kind of threw me off. But regardless, they made it far enough where they made Canada proud. They brought back some kind of like what you call it, just Canadian, everyone supporting one team, you know what I mean? Like uniting everyone in a sense. But you never know. That could all just be a plan just to get us to kind of like be distracted by what's really going on in the economy and how these guys are just inflating the dollar. Like September, they inflated the dollar. Last month they did the same thing. So it's just like I like to talk about like finance because that's important, especially when your money's getting deflated. And you're literally getting robbed. You're getting taxed. But that's me. Some people don't really realize the money they have in their savings account, the money they have tucked away is literally losing value every second. So and if we don't even talk about it, the news ain't gonna talk about it. They're gonna distract us with some other bull. That's why a lot of Canadians too left Canada because the dollar is just in a bad position right now, and we don't have any gold in Canada. Well, we do, but the government doesn't own any gold, so the dollar is just gonna get worse based on that. Because if we're just dependent on oil to sustain strengthen the dollar, it's not gonna work because we're in a different time. And the economy right now is way different than the economy back then in '08 and '07. The only reason why the Canadian dollar strengthened back then was because the U.S. had a crisis, a housing crisis in '07. So the U.S. dollar was weakening back then, and then the government bailed them out. So that's the only reason why our dollar actually was a lot stronger than the U.S. dollar in '07 and '08. And in '07 and '08 too, the oil was like super liquid. Now it's like a lot of big countries like Saudi Arabia and all these other countries that used to buy a lot of oil from Canada, they're not buying as much because they're investing more into like what's it called, fossil fuel and all these other different industries where it's stop Lola, where it's much cheaper to just use certain kind of different power routes instead of like like use oil. So that's kind of like that kind of works against us in a way because our dollar is going to keep getting weaker because our economy depends more on oil. If the oil price goes crazy, the Canadian dollar goes good. If the oil is not selling, Canadian dollar is going to keep getting weaker. So that's the worst thing about our economy because we all like mainly the oil is like what's keeping our dollar strong right now. If we weren't selling, if we weren't even connected to a lot of even like not even just gasoline oil, but like cooking oil, stuff like that. That's why even with the China deal, our economy got a little boost and then it went back down because they're still trying to figure that out. Because the oil that they have in Alberta, all of that reflects the dollar that we have right now. At least the US, they have technology, they have so much different things where their economy is way stronger. Plus they have a lot of gold. They have a lot of liquid gold, so if they need to make their dollar stronger, the gold price is gonna reflect based on their economy. So that's a good thing about like if you're getting paid in USD, you're holding a stronger currency for sure. But with the Canadian dollar now, and then you have Mark Carney spending all this money on the armies, throwing our money overseas to different countries, throwing it away. Not to say like they don't need help, but there's Canadians, there's people even I saw there's a lady I saw on the street, and I was talking to someone about it. I'm like, it's crazy. There's like literally people that are like my age, even younger than me, and they're on the street just with all their stuff, and I'm just like, I'm fascinated, just like how you're in Canada and you're on the street and they're not working to like at least figure out how to help these people. Cause like I feel like the best way to actually help a lot of people too is just like at least get them into like a program where they could just like work on like rehab or just trying to rehabilitate them in a sense instead of like the one thing I hate about our mayor Olivia Chow is like she is like I don't know she doesn't know what's going on, like literally she doesn't know what's going on because when she first got in office she said something about oh she wanted to bring in injections um, like I forgot what it's called. It's like an injection site, whatever. I don't remember the name, but it's a injections site where if you're a drug addict, you go there and shoot up your drugs and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, that's the worst thing. Cause look at Vancouver right now. Vancouver, they have all that stuff, and all you see is more crime, more drug addicts. Like sometimes when I walk outside, I'll go through the park. I'll see someone just sitting there smoking crack, like it's a regular day, and I'm just like, is this really Toronto? Like back then, and like 5 years ago, you would never see that many people just out here just openly smoking like crack, and it's like I remember even like 7 years ago when, or was it 7 years? Well, a couple years ago when weed wasn't even legalized. You'd be if you saw someone smoking weed, they're getting arrested. Now you could walk down Young Street, walk downtown, you could see someone smoking a crack pipe right there at Tim Hortons, at the park, in front of your building. Like it's crazy. This guy's literally on the streets walking around, just taking shit right in front of like people and stuff. Like I don't know. It's actually crazy. What you said? From hello from are you from is that Chinese flag? Shout out to China. But yeah, that's the only thing I don't get. Like we're like throwing away money and it's making our economy worse. But you can't really control that. That's one thing I realized. You can't even you're one person can't really change what's going on. The whole country has to rebel, but most people don't care. They're just like, yeah, it is what it is. But I feel like all this stuff, the drama, all this stuff that's going on with the economy in Canada, I actually really had hope in Justin Trudeau when he first got in office, I think around 10 years ago. And it's kind of crazy 10 years later just to see how the economy is like terrible. Back in the day, we used to be able to say, oh, we're going to the States to buy like a whole bunch of stuff. Now it's like the opposite. It's like the people from the States are like, yeah, we're going to Canada to like get a deal. Now it's like, it's crazy. It's like you go to the States, you're spending like, unless you're stacking USD, then there's no problem with that. But you're spending like so much more money. That's why you gotta invest your money. You gotta find other ways to invest your money. That's why and the worst thing about our economy too, we're making it worse for Canadians. Most Canadians are not trying to invest in Canada anymore. Like, well, the smart ones are literally moving most of their funds to the US. Like me, most of my funds is in the US. Some of my funds is in the UK because the Canadian dollar is too weak, and then obviously I have funds in assets and stuff like that. But like, literally, that's the best way to like at least hedge a little bit with our dollar, because it makes no sense having or saving like a crazy amount of money in your Canadian accounts and it's being deflated every day or every second. At least you can save like 20, 30 racks in a different currency and you'll be good. Or just get some liquid, get some gold, get some gold. Gotta get some gold. Like, that's one thing I don't like, but it is what it is. You just gotta work around it. No point of complaining and trying to like fight back the system. You just gotta like be smart when you're in the system. Not save all your money in one basket. Or don't store all your funds in one basket. Most of my money is in the US and the UK. Can't afford to have a whole bunch of money in Canadian dollars. Because every month or every couple months, we're cutting the interest rate. That's literally what they're doing. So if you're saving or stacking money, you're losing in the economy. No matter if you're in the States or in Canada, but Canada is like your dollar is losing a lot more value faster because you're in Canada. So that's why it's important to like, if I had to give advice to anyone, save some of your money in the States, man. Move some of your money to a different country that has a stable dollar. Because if you're gonna, like I said, if you're only gonna save all your funds in Canada and you don't have assets too, you are gonna be losing. You wanna win in the economy, you gotta be able to invest overseas, own assets. The only way to like protect yourself nowadays is to own assets, have funds overseas, and don't store all your cash in an economy that doesn't benefit you. Only benefit the debtors. People that are in debt, that's the only people that it benefit. People that have funds, they don't. But that's me just speaking my financial kind of mind right now. But yeah, this ain't a finance channel, but sometimes I like to talk about finance because I like to protect my money. Especially if you're saving money, you're gonna be losing, man. If you stacking cash at home, you're gonna be losing. You're gonna be losing. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. We had a couple comments today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Had a couple comments in here. Shout out to Owen White. 8112. Owen White. But yeah, I support all teams. Gotta spread love. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys all of a sudden disappeared. Anyways, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I just wanted to do a quick live stream. Get back in the vibe. Hopefully tomorrow. Today I had a busy day. I had to get some paperwork ready because I'm about to clap back at this unprofessional business that took my money but didn't offer the quality that they were selling. So I'm about to clap back. They're gonna lose their business license for messing with me. I'm getting out of here, man. Shout out to everybody. Appreciate the support. You guys have a great night, man.